welcome to this episode of Talking About Rock. I'm Rob Edwards. Just wanted to take a moment to say thank you to our viewers for all the emails and texts. We love bringing you artists and the music you love each week. For myself and my Nashville counterpart, Jerry Schmidt, we thank you all. Today's guest is one of the rock's premier vocalists. Starting first from his early days in Grand Prix, he then went on to become the founding member and vocalist for McAuley Schenker Group. And today we'll be chatting with him about his latest project, Black Swan. Please welcome to the show, Robin McAuley.
Hey,
Robin, how are you?
I'm good, Rob. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it. So tell us about this new project you got going on, Black Swan. Sounds pretty interesting. I'm really liking it.
Well, we're into our, as they call it, our sophomore album, second release from us, called Generation Mind. First one was Shake the World right at the top end of the pandemic. Very exciting. Jeff Pilson on bass, guitar, Dokken, Machine, of course, Foreigner. And he also produces both records. Beech on guitar, Winger Whitesnake, Matt Starr, Ace Frehley, Mr. Big on drums, and yours truly. All came about really Frontiers Records wanting to put a super group together, which I hate that title. Anyway, so Jeff called me on that subject, and I went, and he said, I've already spoken to Reb, have a good relationship with Reb because of the Dokken association. And Jeff and I have known each other for 30 plus years. So we're like family. And I think my first question to him was, you'll be playing bass, right? And he goes, nope, no, I won't be playing bass. I'll be kind of taking a back seat, producing. I'll get into the co-writing if you guys want that, but I won't be playing bass. And I went, well, okay, bye, see ya.
What did he say to that?
Yeah, and he goes, no, come on, man. I got a bunch of really good bass players lined up, and I just have to check availability. But no, it's going to be great. Please say yes. And he goes, you're the only vocalist I've talked to. You're the only one I want to be on this. And Reb's totally up for it. So let's just say yes and move forward. And I went, if you play bass. So, Laura, excuse me, long story endless. We got into the writing, and, because Jeff's in the studio and it's his studio, he'd put down a quote unquote, a guide bass.
Okay, right.
A guide bass, which of course wasn't a guide bass. And Reb and I would just go, yeah. Okay, Jeff. Moving on to the next song. Great job, dude. I'm glad you're in the band. So we kind of bludgeoned him in, and it really wasn't really that hard. He just went, this is great. Let's do this.
Well, so, I really think it's a great group of guys, a great group of members you got here. When I was looking through everybody.
It's so much fun. And I remember right at the top end, and I said, so what do they want from us? They being the record label. And he goes, well, Frontiers is classic rock. They want a classic rock record. And we kind of just went, oh, is that it?
Right.
And we didn't talk about it anymore after that. We went, we'll just write what we write.
Right. Gotcha. Yeah. So that was going to be my first question, actually. So what was the songwriting writing process like? Because it's hard with COVID, right? So you guys are probably sending tracks.
It was difficult because Jeff and I, and at the time, Matt also lived fairly close to each other, half hour, 45 minutes, not a big deal. And Reb, of course, lives in Pittsburgh. So he wasn't sort of next door to us. So, and of course, right up at the top end, there was no restrictions and people were moving about, and Jeff and himself were really busy on the road. I was performing 5 nights a week at the Vegas show, Rating Rock Vault.
Right.
1,500 shows later or something, and over 6-7 years. So they figured out a schedule. Reb came out to LA. Jeff called me and he goes, Reb's here. We're going to shred for a little bit, get some ideas together, drop them on your doorstep, and then have at it. And so we did, and that's basically how it went about. And same for this current record. They basically get into the woodshed and start chopping the stuff up to me, and I'd work up bit lyrics, melodies, harmonies, all of that sort of stuff. And then I'd get together with Jeff at the studio, and we would do a little pre-production. This is what I've got, and we go, change that here, change that there, step up to the microphone.
Yeah, one of the special tracks you got on there I really liked was Eagles Fly. What can you tell us about that track?
Yeah, I was very excited about that. You know, Reb is playing his ass off on this record. I mean,
I totally agree. He's
just unbelievable. And what I really like about his playing is his depth of melody. He can go off on a tangent, and he brings it right back in, and he comes up with these sumptuous melodies, and it's great. So they send me the music, and I'm listening to it, and I was a big H.G. Wells fan of War of the Worlds, and I particularly liked Jeff Lynne's studio version with War of the Worlds, where he had David Essex and Phil Lynott, and he had Justin Hayward, and he had Richard Burton doing the narration. And the sound that they used on there for the aliens, I heard something on the intro to Eagles Fly, and I went, that reminds me of. And I kept playing it, and I'm going, it's not the same, but there's something that just tweaks my interest.
Right.
Off I went on a tangent, and I went, well, I know what this song is going to be about. And then when I came back to Reb, and I went, thanks for that, dude. And he goes, I have no idea what you're talking about, dude. He said, you did this to me on the first record with Immortal Souls, and you said you heard something like a wolf cry and something that I was playing, and then we have a song about vampires.
So you're a little everything all over.
And I'm going, you're never going to get what you think you're going to get from me, because I just love a story, no matter how crazy it is. The World is a great story.
Yeah, exactly.
And so the video sort of the director talked to me, and he goes, what the hell is this about? And I go, well, this is what it's about. So he found a near abandoned house out here in the valley in LA, and he brought in these young kid actors, and it was like their last hurrah before the aliens came and got them, man. and that was kind of the concept, and it worked great lyrically. It's a soaring song, and it wasn't going to be a single. The label wanted something else, and Reb were going, no, dudes, this is going to be the next one.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm really glad they picked it, because it's very Black Swan, in my opinion.
Definitely. Yeah, I really like it a lot. So I'm going to take a quick break here, and we're going to take a look at the video for Eagles Fly from Black Swan on Talking About Rock. Okay, we're back here on Talking About Rock with Rob McAuley. We just checked out Eagles Fly. So the tracks on the new album, we're kind of talking about it a little bit before. They really bring back that some of that 80s riff style and solo style from Reb. It's so catchy and it so fits, you know?
Yeah. It's I've never liked the whole put them in a bag so we know where to find them and things. So in order to do that, you got to give the bag a name, so whether it's 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, or whatever it is, I like to call it just music. This is what came out. This is where we're at. It would be kind of weird. Somebody was talking to me the other day, Rob, about going, how you define your sound. And I think my answer was something similar to, when we came out of that, what they like to tag us with, that sort of 80s hair rock period, right? And then we sort of segued into what? Grunge, alternative.
Right.
And my answer was, if this was an alternative sounding type of band, you would immediately go, sounds alternative, dude. If it was grunge, it's kind of, and then you'd start picking names out of your hat, like, oh,
right,
kind of little Pearl Jam-y, Soundgarden, but not really. And then you'd go off on this tangent. And why? Because you have to be able to pluck something and go, sounds like, not the same, but
you got to give people just an idea of roughly.
An idea. So now you grab Jeff Pilson, Beech, Matt Starr, and myself, and we all come from that sort of, bag. And so you're going to get traces of something that we belong to, but we tried really hard, without trying really hard, to make this a Black Swan project and have no similarities, if possible, to anything that we came from, to make it kind of fresh, new. It's all new material. And that's no easy feat, because you are who you are. And as soon as I start singing, I'm going to be that guy. And the same was when Reb starts playing, he's going to be the winger guy, the Whitesnake guy.
Right. And the playing seems so fluid and well constructed for each song to me. People maybe didn't get a chance to realize, like you're saying, when he was in winger, what the talent he has. And I think it really shows through in this stuff.
Oh, listen, some said to me, who just started playing guitar, and they said that Beech wrote that lick to 17 when he was like 14, and I went, and that's why I hate him. So that's the immense of the depth of his talent. He doesn't get recognized nearly enough, because he's a great player, man.
Yeah, it definitely stands out on these two albums for sure.
And I think that's what's cool, because I think he loves the fact that he can be Reb Beech and then that Black Swan guy, and he shines, man. I can't praise him enough. He shines. Yeah,
I really liked it. So I wanted to ask you too, how would you say the writing process compares to what you're doing now to, say, what you're doing back in the days of MSG? How would you compare that? Is it more flexible? Is it more interesting? Is it?
No, it's dare I say it, it's definitely more interesting. Obviously you move forward. It's a different time. But we've all learned so much, and we've all developed, I hope, our own thing, our own niche. And one of the great things with Black Swan, when we started it, and because I've known Jeff for such a long time, he goes, I just want you to sing like you sing. That's what I want to do.
Right.
And that's what it's going to sound like. We're not. Remember when you did that track with blah, 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 kind of make it sound, it wasn't. It was like,
because you have a very unique sounding voice. People know who it is when you're singing.
Yeah,
exactly.
And Jeff says, please just be you. I'm going to capture you. I promise this is the best you're going to ever sound, and it's going to be you. And I think that was probably one of the first times over my, 100-year career that people were he just allowed me to be. I don't have a clean voice and never have, but I make it clean depending on the song. I can switch this button and that button, and I can allow my voice to do what I want it to do. And I think that's what I really like about Black Swan. I can just be myself, and we move around as in the
Yeah.
songs. And
Yeah, I would totally agree. You definitely have that ability. You know, some
Yeah.
of the more ballady songs and stuff.
Yeah.
It's slowed down, and
You get the full gamut, and it's so much fun. It's so much fun, and there isn't that sort of cloud of has to sound a certain way and it has to fit, and it's like
right.
none of that.
Right. So you mentioned a little bit about your earlier career, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that as well. So back in the days for Grand Prix, you guys were out supporting the Samurai album with Iron Maiden. Can you tell us a little bit how that tour was, and maybe some of the experiences on there?
Yeah. That's I mean, we were just talking about that the other day. To my Grand Prix fellow bandmates, by the way. We little FYI, we're working up something that might be new from that era.
Oh, that would be great to see. That would be great to see.
So far, it's sounding really good, and we just went, why not? Let's do it. And with the Iron Maiden thing, you know, we were rehearsing in a studio in London, and Samson were next door at the next studio with Bruce singing with Samson at the time, and our bass player Ralph Hood from Grand Prix and Bruce used to share an apartment in London, and so we all knew each other. We'd see each other almost every single day. Right. And the drummer from Samson went on to join Simple Minds, which nothing much ever happened to them.
I think they might have had one or two songs out there, maybe. I don't know.
And then we ended up, we were at, they made a big to-do because we were branded as the new wave of heavy metal, sort of this whole new genre of music.
Right, exactly. That's what they were branding you guys as, for sure.
And so we came out and we played the Reading Festival outside of London, and Maiden were on with Paul Di'Anno, and I think that may have well been Paul's near last show or something. And so Samson came on with Bruce. We came back to the rehearsal room to carry on getting ready, I think, for the Sammy Hagar, Stanley Hampton tour or something like that. And Bruce came in and he goes, Harry just offered me the gig with Maiden, and I don't know what to do. And we were going, what do you mean you don't know?
What do you mean you don't know what to do? One of the biggest fan bases in heavy metal just asked you to join them on the road.
Yeah, and I don't know what to do. So we know what he did, and we got the opening slot on that Peace of Mind tour, Bruce's first tour, and it was just, I mean, to see it. To believe it, it was just
right. And what I've heard the story goes, they actually made you a samurai suit to do some theater on stage with Eddie, right?
I almost forgot that. You know, Cats had come to London, the show, right? And Cats was playing in London, and our management company, who was also Judas Priest management company, they said, you know what, you need a costume. You need a costume.
More theatrical, because that's kind of what Maiden was going for, right?
Yeah, for the tour. So they got the people at Cats to build this samurai uniform. I got fitted for it, and it had all of this neon piping that with blue light, this whole thing just became 10 times bigger than it was. And they made me a sword and the whole deal, dude. And then when we finished at Hammersmith Odeon on the last night of the tour, they decided that at that time, in Peace of Mind, Eddie would come out in a straitjacket.
Right.
So they decided that Eddie and I should go at it.
I'm sure the audience ate that up.
Oh, dude, so out comes Eddie as I'm doing Samurai. And I had to start the song. Right. And then I had to get into uniform and back out of uniform or costume again. Right. And it was, man, you'd lose like buckets of sweat, right? So I come back out and there's Eddie. And the whole idea was very theatrical. It was I'd draw the samurai sword and I'd cut the straps off his straitjacket. Yeah. And then of course he'd be dangling around the place, and the people just loved it. They just lapped it up, and it was just a great time. It was a great time, you know. And
yeah, that sounds like that was an amazing tour. That was a huge album for them, for sure, definitely.
Oh my God! What an entrance for Bruce and the band. It just took them to a level that they never stopped you know, building the bricks on that
Yeah.
foundation.
Yeah, I just saw him here. Was it like a year or two ago with my son? They're still sound great,
It was
amazing.
incredible. And you know, at the time, part of Bruce's warm-ups backstage, he was a great fencer. I don't know if you knew that. He was like Olympic
Right.
standard, so he would don the whole thing, and he'd be back there fencing and a complete workout. And of course, now he's you know, he's a commercial pilot. He flies their jet. You know, the fans get to win.
And he was doing his spoken word tour also. So much
watching-
going on with that guy.
I was watching some of that, and I'm going, dude, you know, you need to do more.
right. You're not doing enough. What's the problem? I know. But anyway, so it's
you know, it's a great story. It didn't come easy, and it didn't come without extreme hard work and dedication. And so kudos to that in a very, very big way, you know.
definitely. So with that, you moved into MSG after
Right.
Grand Prix.
Yeah. You know, when I was with Grand Prix, we did a warm-up show in London, and Michael came to the show together with Chris Glenn and the great Cozy Powell. And Andy and I, who played keyboards, who also played keyboards actually on George Michael's Faith album, believe it or not. And so they came, and they're sort of staring at the band. And the next morning I get a call. It goes, "Hey, Michael would like you to come to the rehearsal room." And I'm going, "I'm leaving for tour tomorrow. I can't."
Right.
And I got the worst press out of it, because they were going, "What the hell does this Irish upstart think he is, refusing to go to the studio with Michael Schenker?" And I'm going, "Wouldn't it look really good? How would you have sort of gotten into your little column here in your magazine if I had gone and dumped on Grand Prix?" And goes, "This asshole, you just dumped on him the day before the tour." I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
It was a no-win situation if you look at it that way,
So-
right? Yeah.
So, you know, that's not the type of person I am. It's like,
Right.
you don't
Right.
cut and run.
Right. You got to
And,
stay true to what you're doing, your project. This is your current project, right?
Absolutely. And, you know, 4 years later, I get a call from Michael again, from his management company, who happened to be Scorpion's management company and their sound company, in addition to Lieber Krebs, who used to manage Ted Nugent and Aerosmith. They also managed.
Okay. Yep.
And I had been in Germany, and I had released, together with Bobby Kimball, on a Far Corporation, a studio project, we had released a remake of Stairway to Heaven that was flying up into the top 10 in the UK, sold over 2 million singles or something. And suddenly I get a call, "Hey, you want to come to Hanover in Germany and audition for Michael?" And I'm going, "No." And you know, I was riding high with the success of a studio project, right?
Right.
And anyway, I did. And I was the last of 17 singers. I was in the studio with Rudolph. And we sort of worked a bunch of different stuff. I was there for like 3 days or something. And I went back to London, and about a week later, they arranged to see me in London and say, "Hey, Klaus, Mina, and Rudolph, and the management company, and Michael really wants you to be the next singer, and we really want to head into the US market that Michael's never really made an indent into." And this brings us full circle, Rob, back to the writing by numbers thing, because you have to sound a certain way, you have to write a certain type of song.
Right. Depending on what demographic or what market you're looking
Because
for,
now
right?
you're going up like against your White Snakes and your Def Leppards and your Bon Jovis and your Slaughter.
Right.
And your Wingers.
Right.
And so
Right.
there's a niche there, and if you don't get the MTV song or the VH1 song in the video, nobody's no.
And you guys did that. You had Anytime, and you got that song.
Nobody's going to know who you are, what you are, where you came from, and they really could give a shit either way. And because you sort of now have all of that stuff supposedly going for you, you get picked up for the tours, and
Right.
that was the leg up, you know.
Right.
when people talk about it today, there's some journalists who will go, I never liked that MSG period because it was too commercial. It took Michael away from what he was doing. And it was like, I didn't write the music. Michael wrote the music, you know?
Right.
And this is what it was. And here we are now.
Right. Well, I thought it was some great music. It got a heck of a lot of airplay.
I did.
You know, it got a lot of rotation on MTV. I remember anytime being on the radio over and over all the time. I enjoyed it. So
you can't get it off Sirius radio these days. So here we are, what, 30 something years later. So, you know, was it all
right. And then after MSG, you decided to take a break for a while, right? You got married and got out of the biz for a little while and kind of took a break, right?
I did. You know, I was on tour on a solo effort. I was in Japan, and my son Jamie took his first steps, and I came back and I was absolutely bummed. And I went, that's it. And also, it was, you know, my kids were born in 99, but there wasn't much sort of going back to the taglines, the 80s thing going on, really.
Right. Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
Well, grunge came out in the 90s and killed it all.
Yeah. And, you know, anybody that had long hair at the time was like, you just go away and die. You know?
Right.
And I remember we used to joke and go, you know, we're just like dinosaurs, man. We'll be grazing in the background.
Yeah. I just never understood why people just want to see people in their jeans and sneakers playing in the garage. It just didn't.
And complaining about their parents.
Yeah, I just didn't get that. You know, I was looking for a show. I was looking for a little bit more.
We used to call it blame the parents music because, you know, it was all of that sort of dark. And
but you can't keep it down because what's happening, it's coming back now.
Dude, it's been back for a long time.
Right.
You know, when I did the Vegas show, which starts up again in June, 7-8 years, #1 best classic rock show in Vegas.
You're talking about Raiding the Rock Vault, right?
Raiding the Rock Vault. Why? Yep. Because people love a show and people love to hear those big 60s, 70s, 80s hits.
Right.
You know, and you could take it a step further and say, every time you look at a car commercial on your TV, it's usually a big 80s rock song.
Yes, definitely. That's what's been going on for sure. I
totally
agree with you.
Why is that? Is it because it was so bad? You know, and there were good times. There was just positive, bunch of lunatics just having a good time, writing cool songs with huge choruses. And I mean, look at the comeback for several years now of the likes of Journey and Styx and Foreigner.
Yeah, I'm loving getting a chance to see him again. I saw him all growing up. My girlfriend didn't get a chance to see a lot of them, so she's getting a chance to see a lot of them now. It's really great. You know, awesome. I'm glad this is coming back for sure.
It's awesome when you go to see one of those bands. It's a show.
Right. That's what people don't realize. You know, these bands are putting on a show. It's an entertainment extravaganza. It's not just a bunch of guys up there.
There's the key right there. I mean, entertain me, for God's sake.
Exactly. Get your money's worth, right?
I'm going out. I want to leave going, I'm exhausted. That was just
right.
Bad.
Exactly. So I also want to chat quick about, you did some solo work as well. I know you've mentioned sometimes that you really weren't that motivated to do it and maybe not as happy, but in 99 you did Business as Usual. And in 2021 you did Standing on the Edge. I really like Standing on the Edge. I really like the title track on that a lot.
Thanks. You know, Business as Usual was never written as a solo record. It was John Kolodner over at Geffen Records putting Frankie Sullivan and myself together. And he said, you know, I think this could be interesting. See what you guys come up with. And so we wrote a whole record. Again, it was like 94 or something when we actually wrote that record.
Right.
And the music industry didn't really want to know anything about that style of music. And
wasn't the right time, right?
Yeah. So it sat, and then a Japanese company picked it up, and I get a call from the guys, and they're going, "Hey, you know, just put it out as a solo record. If they want it, just put it out." So it went out as a solo record that was never intended to be a solo record. And so when I came up to last year with Standing on the Edge, people are going, "Dude, you know, obviously it takes a while to write a solo." Because it's been 30 years since your second. And you know, I didn't really want to do that for Frontiers. So Serafino called me and he goes, "Hey, make a solo record. It'll be a great stopgap after the first Black Swan record.
Exactly.
The next one. And so, you know, I bounced around and I wrote a song with Phil Lanzon from Grand Prix, you know, my old keyboard player who's now with Uriah Heep. And I started mixing it up with sort of people I had worked with, because what else was I going to do? Because I didn't really know where to take it. So I took a taste from everything. And last Friday, in actual fact, 1 week ago, I got the green light for the next 11 songs, 12 songs that I've submitted for my follow-up solo record.
Oh, so, excellent.
So there will be another one. It's songs are approved. I'm pretty excited about it. It's now I can do what I want.
Right. You don't have to cater to them. You already showed them you can do it now. So now it's like, okay, my chance to get a little control.
1 week from today, I actually will be jumping on a plane to Helsinki, and I'll be doing best part of a month's tour of Europe with the great Michael Schenker.
Oh, excellent. You are a busy guy, definitely.
Busy. It's good. It's all very positive stuff. Yeah.
Definitely. So we want to check out another track here. Actually going to do the title track, Generation Mine, from the latest release from Black Swan. So we'll take a quick pause and play that on here from Black Swan on Talking About Rock.
Awesome.
Okay, we're back here on Talking About Rock, talking with Robin McAuley.
Good
So,
morning,
Robin,
good morning, good morning.
hey, so what are the future plans for you guys in Black Swan? Are you getting ready to do a tour, or what's happening?
You know, everybody asks the $1 million question. The $1 million answer is, you know, as soon as I'm not doing anything and Jeff's not doing anything and Matt's not doing anything and Rev's not doing anything, we'll do some shows. It's difficult to really schedule anything because we're crazy busy. I mean, that's a good complaint.
Right.
But we all collectively and together, we agree that we would love to play some live. In actual fact, when we're shooting the videos for Generation Mind and for Eagles Fly, Reb came to Jeff and myself and he goes, "Hey dudes, do you think we'd be any good live?" And Jeff goes, probably not.
No, you guys would be killer, like opening for Scorps or something like that. That would be great.
We feel that you know, there's a lot involved just to do a show, especially with people that are spread out. So we have to come together and do some really intense rehearsals and that sort of stuff. So we figured that festivals would probably be the perfect forum for us. Whether it's a Monsters of Rock or one of those big open air festivals, that would be, you know, a lot of people in the same place at the same time, and it would be perfect. And I'm dying to see that artwork up on the back of the stage because I think it's awesome. I love it. And we, you know, a tour may not be at this point feasible. It may not be easy to do because, you know, I think very soon Whitesnake and Foreigner will actually pair up in the UK for a bunch of shows.
Yeah, they just announced that the other day.
Yeah, Foreigner just got done with a Vegas residency. Yep. Winger have been crazy. I know that Kip is trying desperately hard to get a commitment out of Reb, and Reb's going, "Call David."
Yeah, we just saw him here last month. He was opening. He's doing like an acoustic set. Kip is
right, and then he also just had this huge thing in Memphis with his symphonic, with his because
I did see that. Yeah, that's right.
So I think it's just awesome that there is this new phase in everybody's life of creativity. It's exciting.
Yeah, well, the fans want to see the entertainment. We know we've been missing the live shows. We've went through this crazy pandemic.
Yeah, and I would love to tell you right now that I could give you a bunch of dates for Black Swan. I can't, unfortunately, but we will work on it. That much I can tell you. We will.
Excellent. Well, we'll definitely keep an eye out on it. So I know you got to get going, but I want to ask you one last thing. So the name Black Swan, how did you guys come up with that? It kind of almost sounds kind of fitting, right?
It very fitting too if you get into the economics and the state of the world. And we had come up with a bunch of different names, and they were shit. They were terrible names. And then Reb calls one day and he goes, "Hey, Reb thinks we should call the band Black Swan." And we went, "There's a great name." Or not Reb, but Kip.
Kip came up with it.
Kip came up with the name, and
all right.
And we went Black Swan. Oh my God, this is a great name. It fell. And then I went, "You got to be careful because it was a movie, yada yada yada." How do we sort of differentiate? You know, people are going to say, "Oh, you stole it from the movie," and then immediately everybody's going, "You do know that Black Swan, you know, is all to do about, you know, the time period and the economics," and I'm going, even more interesting because of where we're at, right? And because of pandemics and God knows what. You couldn't write a better movie, really.
Yeah, I think it can have so many meanings. Exactly like you were saying. Yeah, exactly.
And then of course it conjures up great artwork. I got involved with the artwork on this one. And Jeff and Reb says, "Dude, you're more like in this. This is more your thing. You take care of it. Keep us posted. Tell me what you come up with." And I initially this current artwork all came about because of the plague doctor masks that they used to use or wear back at the time of the Black Plague. And so I started, I can do some graphics. So I started conjuring up renderings, and I was putting these masks on a swan head. I was coming up with all sorts of weird
You
stuff.
are the idea man. You are the idea man for sure.
And then we get together with the artist, Stan Decker, who also did the Shake the World one. And I'm explaining everything to Stan, and I'm sending him all of these renderings. And I said, look, we need to go a little steampunk. We need to just, and then
exactly.
I sent him all of these photos from Alien, and I said, you see these colors, all of these sort of blue cold steel dripping stuff. These are the colors we need to be using, and I could show you 6, 7, 8 renderings where it was like really black, and I went, no, we don't know. That's the wrong. It's like looking at your shirt and coming up with a cold steel, icy steel look, and so we got to it, sent it off to the guys, and they're going, "This is great, dude!"
Excellent.
I think I'm all about art. I think the cover is as important as the music that's behind it, and I like to think that if you line up a whole bunch of new releases, Black Swan artwork will stick out a mile in front of you. There's nothing like it. There's nothing else like it.
I definitely really dig it. So for tour dates, we should keep an eye on the website and on Facebook for you guys.
Yes, I have an official Robin McAuley official Facebook page where you'll see everything that's going on. If you're interested in Black Swan in terms of what's available from CDs to, there's a beautiful vinyl that's on a crystal finish. Excuse me. There's also a edition of cassette tapes.
Oh, really? Okay.
I mean, right. And of course, there's the T-shirts. And if you go to Frontiers Records or Frontiers Music, SRL, it'll take you straight. Just type in Black Swan. It'll take you straight to our store, and everything that's available to order, if you want to do that, is on there. It'll also give you links to Amazon and all of that sort of stuff. And it'll also take you to YouTube, where you can watch the videos. Generation Mind video is up there, the title track, Eagles there on YouTube, and the most current one that came out last week with the release of the record, Miracle, and that's up there as well.
Excellent.
That takes you a little behind the scenes look of how we shot the videos. It's really cool.
Cool. So people, if you want to know more about Black Swan and more about Robin, check all that stuff out. Robin, we appreciate you being with us today.
Rob, thank you so much.
Yep. And if you folks out there have questions or comments for us, please feel free to email us at talkingaboutrock@gmail.com. Please like us and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And for this and all our other upcoming interviews, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Robin McAuley, so great to speak with you. We look for more stuff coming from you guys, and we hope we see the Black Swan tour real soon.
Rob Edwards, thank you so much. God bless you all. We love you. Thank you. Have a great weekend.
You too now. Thank you.
Bye.